So thinking about being a senior is very strange. I don't think anyone who's a senior can believe that 4 years have gone by, because it feels like just yesterday that we were all tiny little freshmen who didn't know anything. And I'd like to think that I'm much older and wiser now than I was 4 years ago, and hopefully that's true, but probably isn't. I guess just looking back on all 4 years, I mean, being on the golf team has been by far the most significant and meaningful experience of my experience overall at Harvard. It's taught me so much about being a friend, being a teammate, being a leader, as captain this year, and I'm just so grateful for everything the golf team has given me. And you know, we only have a couple weeks left in the season, and I'm just hoping that I can give back as much as I can by really going out with a bang. I mean, the last 4 years I've had here have been incredible, and you know, I'm going to look back on it fondly no matter what. But hopefully, you know, if we win Ivies and get to go to regionals again, it'll be that little cherry on top. So there are definitely a lot of perks about being an athlete at Harvard. I think everyone agree that DHAs are definitely one of them. But I mean, there are just so many resources available to us and so many opportunities that aren't an option at other schools. I mean, just being on the golf team, we are able to play at the country club, which is the oldest country club in the country. And it's an incredible resource that we have that other schools don't have, you know, and I think we take it for granted all the time. But whenever I go out there on the first day of the season, I just have this like tingly feeling, because I get so excited to play every single time, and it makes this experience so much more special. And then I think another thing that's just incredible is just the caliber of people that you're surrounded by. I mean, I know that everyone says that you learn just as much, if not more, from your peers than you do in your classes, but it's really true. And just being on a team with such smart, capable, motivated individuals just really pushes you to do your best. So I'm really grateful and lucky to have been on the golf team. I've met some of my best friends on this team and have had so much fun. Literally some of the best times I've ever had at Harvard have been while we're traveling to tournaments or just on the golf course. And I know, looking back, I'm just going to be laughing about all of the ridiculous things that we did day to day. I mean, you know, me and my best friend, who was a teammate and graduated last year, I mean, we just basically have our own language. And whenever she comes back to visit, you know, we call her from the golf in all the time, and she gets on and everyone just starts laughing almost immediately, because we just have so much fun together. And I mean, there are just so many inside jokes, you know, ridiculous voices and ridiculous faces that no one else will understand and probably thinks we're crazy to be doing, but we just have such a ball doing it. So the golf team is incredibly lucky to have the facilities that we do. I think that we have some of the best facilities available to any college golf teams. You know, we are able to practice at the country club in Brookline, which is the oldest country club in the U.S. and is, you know, one of the most phenomenal golf courses in the country. It's hosted several PGA Tour events and USGA events, and we are lucky to get to play there every day. And, you know, we just have the new facility that was built for us as well. And unfortunately, I haven't been able to use it that much being a senior. It was just completed about a month ago, but I know that this is really going to be a huge benefit to the teams in the future, being able to utilize this space in the off season in a way that just simply wasn't available to us before, and I think it'll be a real asset. And honestly, Kevin and Fred, I can't really put into words how much they've meant and contributed to my experience since I've been here. I mean, it's literally indescribable. I'm with them more than almost any other people at school, and they have done more to help me develop as a person, you know, probably second only to like my parents and my closest friends or something like that. I mean, they've just taught me so much and have been so incredibly supportive and are just so knowledgeable. You know, all of my friends know Fred is basically just like some godlike figure who spends more time with the golf team than is humanly possible, and every other team that we ever play talks about how Kevin is the nicest coach that they have ever met. So we are incredibly, incredibly lucky, and we don't tell them enough. I mean, in terms of success, obviously my freshman year was a momentous year. When we won Ivies, it was the first time the team has ever done that. You know, we had set that out as a goal 3 years previously before I came on the team, and then to actually complete that goal was amazing. Being a freshman, I don't know that I understood the significance of what we had done. And so given that, I'd like to think that, you know, the tournament that's coming up in a couple weeks' time will ultimately be the most memorable. But, you know, the rest is yet to come. And then I guess just in terms of team dynamic, there are a couple of tournaments that have really stood out in my mind for me. When we played at the Golf Week Conference Challenge in Las Vegas my junior year, we were able to go there because we had won Ivies my freshman year. And it was a totally different tournament than we had ever competed in before. It was against teams that were ranked very high nationally, and it was the first time that we had really traveled as a team together, and I felt like the team was kind of jiving in a way that it had never felt like that before, and it really felt very cohesive, and we all played exceptionally well. We came in 7th, which compared to the teams that we were playing against, you know, was phenomenal. So I was really proud of how we did that tournament, and I think that that has stayed in my head and will continue to do so after I graduate. Thinking about what it's like to be a senior right now and to be captain of my team, I've learned more this year than I've ever learned at school, in high school, playing golf, anything like that, because it's really taught me how to be a team member and how to lead at the same time, which I think is a really, really important skill. And being the only senior in the golf program, you know, the team jokes, you know, they call me Meep Tater. Meep is my nickname, you know, Meep Tater, you get it. But it's been incredible. The team is so supportive, and I really couldn't ask for a better group of girls to be with all the time. You know, they make it really, really easy, and I wish I could tell them how much I'm going to miss them next year, but then I'll start to cry. So we have a couple of team traditions that probably seem a little bit silly or strange and don't make sense to people who aren't on the team. My friend Sarah Harvey, who graduated last year and started the Sarah A. Harvey mentorship program, started the tradition of ball marking in the van before tournaments. And it's not quite as ritualistic as it used to be, but it was quite a big part of tournaments. When she was on the team, you know, we'd all sit in the van, and she had just these crazy decorations that she would say would distract all of her competitors from actually playing well. So who knows if that was actually true. And then a couple of other traditions. This isn't exactly a tradition per se, but Christine Cho, who's a junior and my current roommate, from the moment that she set foot on the golf team, again, Sarah Harvey determined that her name was going to be not Christine, but Extine. And since everyone who was on the team at the time has graduated, since, you know, Extine became Extine, except for me, I'm now the only one that calls her that. And in my head, she's just Extine. She's not Christine. Extine is her name. But I realized, you know, a couple weeks ago that I was the only one still calling her that, and I didn't even realize until I picked up on other team members calling her Christine. I was like, what? That's not her name. So hopefully that tradition will live on after I graduate. I'm hopeful, but, you know, if Christine wants to go back to Christine, then I guess I have to support that.